Okay, now I'm going to introduce you to Natasha, also known as the Health Conscious Diva. She's a single mom, an entrepreneur, a health coach, and a health advocate. She has championed through a few rounds of heart disease. Her passion is to help others succeed in all facets of life. Natasha is determined to teach others to take control of their own health. She had a radio show called In Good Health. In addition to health coaching, she teaches cooking classes and meal prepping. She has just released a book called My Heart Rocks, detailing how she avoided a heart transplant. Natasha is the facilitator for the Health Expo in Ewing Township called HYPED, which stands for Helping Your People Excel Drastically, because Natasha advocates your health begins with you. Here's Natasha.
Thank you. Looking at me, you would never know the battles that I've had to fight. I've been attacked by so many illnesses. A cardiologist once told me that I look worse on paper than I do in person. I've championed through diabetes, post-traumatic stress disorder, fibroid and thyroid issues, tinnitus, being overweight, loss of cognitive functions, and on top of all of that, a weakened heart. According to my medical records, just a few years ago, I had the heart of an inactive 85-year-old. Growing up, I was one of the most active and healthiest children on the surface. I practically lived at my dance school, I played softball, and I was a cheerleader in high school. I never missed a day of school because I was never sick. I never even had the chicken pox, even though my mom made me play with my cousins when they had it. But that changed once I entered adulthood. Pregnancy is supposed to be one of the best times of a woman's life, at least once you get through the morning sickness. There may be some hiccups, but for the most part, it's when a woman's skin begins to glow, and she is at one of the healthiest moments in her life. I was 21 when I got pregnant with my only child, and during this time frame, I never stopped being active. I took the steps instead of the elevator at work and went for 30-minute walks at lunchtime. I even walked around the block to my OBGYN appointments around the corner from my house. But my health declined during my third trimester. My feet were incredibly swollen and my blood pressure would not stop climbing. My son was born 1 month early, and unfortunately, he was not healthy. He had necrotizing enterocolitis, inflammation of the small intestines, due to my blood pressure being so high and his needing to drop so low at birth. Unfortunately, after his birth, I did not get better. I couldn't lie flat at night, and my breathing was labored. My primary care physician diagnosed me with bronchial spasms and gave me an inhaler, but the symptoms got worse. I went to the ER and found that I was in congestive heart failure and diagnosed with a rare heart condition called postpartum cardiomyopathy. For years, I kept exercising at the gym, but my heart function never got any better. I was always out of breath and my energy was low. In 2009, I was back in the emergency room due to work-related stress that took me out of the workforce for good. I had 3 surgeries in less than 3 years and every illness that I mentioned above. In 2015, when I thought my health was actually going to get better, I suffered from broken heart syndrome, where my heart function was so low that my congestive heart failure doctor told me I would need a heart transplant. I told him that I didn't want one, and he called me selfish for not wanting so. And that's when I made the decision to prove him wrong. After 7 days in the hospital, I was put on the heart transplant list and sent home with a PICC line with life-saving medication. Immediately, I implemented my plan to get healthy. I removed processed foods and ate something green at every meal. I sought out an innovative medical cardiologist, and when I built up my energy, I made sure that I started walking again. In 6 months, my heart function improved and the PICC line was removed. After 16 years, I had reversed my heart function back to normal, lowered my blood sugar levels, and I have no need for thyroid medication. I said I was one of the most active and healthiest children on the surface because I was a picky eater and my mom was happy just to see me eat something. I hated all vegetables, except cucumbers, and anything green to me was rabbit food. Prepackaged, processed, and fast foods were all I ate. I was malnutritioned, and I only made up for it because of how active I was. Once I started making my own money, I was even less active because I was purchasing a lot of junk food. My favorite quote is, "The body does not understand opinion." Sadly enough, people don't seem to understand that the body is not built for the chemicals in food-like items being made today. People seem to think they can eat whatever it is that they want to eat with no consequences, and that cannot be any further from the truth. There is a huge disconnect where the function of food is concerned. You shouldn't be living to eat. You should be eating to live. As a health coach, I make it a point to teach people how to become their own health advocate and eat the foods that was placed on this earth for them to reach their optimal levels of health. It's not about calories, whether it's in or out. It's all about nutrients all the way in. My book, My Heart Rocks, will actually be released later this month, but it goes into details about what I had to do in order to beat illness on a whole and what you can do to start managing your own health. I will be set up over at Paula's table with my tablet so that you can actually sign up for a preview of the book and also get some free goodies like a month's supply of meal plans. So you can reach me over there, and I thank you very much.